let's talk about detoxing. Today I want to go over little things you can do every day to incorporate like a daily gentle detox. So if you follow any of my content, you know I'm not a big fan of like big massive detoxes or like pills. All of that just seems like a lot to do one day on your body. So my theory has always been to do things every day to keep detoxing so that you don't have to do it all at once. It's almost like cleaning your house every day instead of waiting once a year to do one big clean, or cleaning your car, maybe not showering for a year, doing it once a year. I think that puts it into perspective a little bit. So little things you can do every day to just gently detox. So I have a few different categories I want to go over. I want to start with the food because this is the most effective and it's my favorite. My thing on food, I had this little saying that I like to share, is the dirtier it looks, the cleaner it is. So I want you guys to try focusing on getting like really whole, clean, plant-based foods, things that you would just find at the grocery store that have no labels on them, no nutrition facts, like a potato. Like if you can see dirt on the potato, I like that because it's probably less pesticides they used. That's where it's supposed to come from. Obviously you can wash all of your fruits and veggies when you get home, but just have food in its natural form. This alone, I promise you, is such like a healthy natural detox. And the good thing about clean, healthy food is that each of it's so different and unique. It all has its own like benefits that you can always have a variety, and having a variety is good. Like every vegetable is different, every fruit has like its own unique thing. So what I like to do, if you have access to a farmer's market, which I think is easier no matter where you live in the summer because the warm weather permits for it. But luckily in California we get to go every week. So I go every week to the farmer's market. And I like to just get whatever's in season, like whatever's supposed to naturally grow. Also remember that food that grows in season is already going to be healthier. It's what's naturally supposed to grow from the earth, and the soil is healthier, and where it grows and comes from actually impacts the nutrients and how it grows. So, certain stands, like sometimes berries are good. Right now they had Swiss chard and kale. I love kale. I'm not gonna lie, I made this Swiss chard and it was really bitter, so I still have to work on recipes for that. You guys have any recipes, definitely share them below because mine was not very good. But I'm going with it, and I always just like eating fresh food in season. Also, I'm not afraid of potatoes. I know that I think in the past, like the no carb thing, people think it's just super unhealthy. Sweet potatoes, yams, they're so amazing. Red potatoes are actually great, even lower in sugar than sweet potatoes. So it depends on what your focus is, but whole foods. Put this aside. The next thing I want to talk about is a little supplement. I guess you could call this a supplement that you could add, chlorophyll drops. I have mentioned this in other videos. Sometimes certain things keep coming up because everything's full circle and everything's connected. When you're talking about wellness and detoxing, nothing is really categorized because the body's whole. So a lot of times certain things will come up again in different videos, so that's why. But I wanted to talk about chlorophyll. This is by Sakara. I really like this one because it's just easy. You can add like 5 drops a day into your water. It literally tastes like nothing. It's really pretty. It's a conversation starter. It's great for like heavy metal detoxes, for mercury. If you're eating a lot of fish, I really highly recommend adding in chlorophyll. This is something you can do every single day. 5 drops. And I can list a few other brands below that I like. It's just something that takes no effort. Like I said, it doesn't taste like anything. It's fun to drink. I feel like I said, it's just an easy one to add in. It tastes exactly like plain water. And just to kind of focus on the liver detox, I think this is one thing that I really like about chlorophyll. Our liver is where we metabolize almost everything. So many medications, and if our liver is compromised, then a lot of other stuff is not gonna work properly in our body. So this is just something so natural and so easy that we can do. There's obviously like medications and pills, but if we do these things every day to just keep everything inside of us working as healthy as possible, you won't have to get to that point. So chlorophyll drops, liver detox. Let's make sure we're excreting everything properly, because if we don't, then it's just gonna stay in there and turn into junk. The next thing I wanna talk about is not really in the food category, but it's cleaning your cell phone. So I know this one, it might seem like just a funny one to bring up, but our cell phones were on all day, every day, constantly. And I think we have to also take into consideration that as we evolve and different things that are like prominent in our lives may not have been prominent in our parents' lives or our grandparents' lives. So they might not have to think about it, but we do. And then when we have kids, they'll have to think about different things. So a really good natural disinfectant you can use is 50% water, 50% vinegar. Distilled water is the best. Distilled water is basically just water that's been boiled down and all the like little particles and everything are taken off. So, you know, it just makes it the most sterile. If you don't have distilled water, you can use regular water. But apple cider vinegar, it's got great antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. You can just dab a little. Obviously don't get it like too wet because you don't want to ruin your phone. And just like lightly. And then as soon as you do a scrub, I would just make sure it's dried off after. Maybe use a little water so your phone doesn't smell like vinegar and your face doesn't smell like vinegar, but an easy one to add in. The next thing I wanted to talk about is intermittent fasting. Quick recap on it if you haven't seen my other video on intermittent fasting. You know, I'll take that back. Fasting in general or intermittent fasting, you know, it's basically when you give your body this period of fasting, like when we're eating all day, constantly, even if you're eating really healthy, but consistently every few hours and not really taking breaks. Like let's say you eat some berries late at night and then as soon as you wake up in the morning, you have some toast. Not that those things are so unhealthy, but you're not giving your body a break to stop digesting. And when it's constantly digesting, it's not doing its other like cleanup and maintenance work that it needs to do. So the idea is when you give yourself this like period of fasting, 12 hours, I'd say minimum 16 is really where the best is. That's what intermittent fasting usually says. You fast for 16 hours and you eat in an 8-hour period. I will link that video below here too. But that's when your body really starts to go into repair mode and like detox and eat away cancerous cells, toxic cells, and you kind of just detox yourself. So this is something you could even do a few days a week. My recommendation would be if it's hard in your schedule, let's say in your social life, I know a lot of people have like dinners and they eat late, try to do it like 2 to 3 days a week, like really solid. It's better to do 2 to 3 days a week of a 16-hour fast than to just do like a 10-hour fast every day, if that makes sense. So go all in a few days a week. Everyone can do it. You're not out every single night. If you are, then that's a different story, but try to do it those days and then at least you're getting that like detox 3 days a week instead of 7. And lastly is skincare and beauty. And I'm not gonna go too into this topic because this is just there's so much to cover here and there's so many ingredients and blacklists and everyone, you know, it's a little bit gray in terms of, you know, some people will only exclude certain ingredients, some, you know, even based on countries. Like the US is actually the worst, unfortunately. I think we only ban about 12 ingredients and we're that's definitely the worst of any other region. But I will say there are certain ingredients that are worse than others, and I did a video on that, so you can check that out below. I will link it. Certain ingredients that you should avoid, and I also put a little cheat sheet in the description of that video. So if you ever just want like, you know, if you're looking at a new skincare brand and you want to make sure it's clean, even the ones that say they're clean, unfortunately, sometimes marketing is just marketing, so you can't trust that. But I can give you a little cheat sheet and you can look on the back and make sure it doesn't have any of those ingredients. So that was it. Those are just some quick ways to detox. Remember, this is something that if you just do every day, you don't have to worry about constantly and you don't have to just buy into all of the like expensive, like intense detoxes. A lot of those just unfortunately are marketing scams and also a lot of times aren't very healthy. I actually remember one time years ago, this like chiropractor sold me this whole like detox thing and you were supposed to put like a few drops in your tea. I was literally hunched over in bed for the entire night for like 10 hours. It was horrible. So this is something that won't make you feel like that. This is just helping you heal from within, and these little things will prevent the need for anything major later on. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments and I will link the other 2 videos I mentioned below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.